Let's talk about what happened on April 14th, 2026 at the intersection of Northeast Lake Avenue and Flower Mound. For a few days leading up to this, citizens had been spotting a police car parked right where this wreck occurred in the center turning lane. There were even reports of another unconfirmed unit doing the exact same thing on Flower Mound just north of Gore. What were they doing? Were they sitting actively in the turning lanes, running radar to catch potential speeders? Well, fast forward to the 14th, and that questionable setup ended in a 3-car wreck, including the very police parked in the middle lane. Looking at the scene, it appears a red Chevy Equinox meandered into the middle turning lane, clipped the cop car, continued its progression to the oncoming lanes, and slammed into a third vehicle. It was a mess, and honestly, it was a disaster waiting to happen. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Is there a law against a cop running radar from a center turn lane? No, it is a completely legal police process. The majority of people looking at this online understand the inherent danger of doing it, but you still have a few folks who just can't see the correlation here. They want to argue that just because the officer wasn't legally at fault, his presence wasn't a contributing factor. But let's use some basic common sense. Why do you have so many rear-end collisions when people are gawking at a wreck on the side of the highway? Why don't we just set up a charity car wash of full bikini-clad sexy 20-year-olds right in the center median? Why don't we put massive flashing billboards in the middle of the road? Because we know the distractions cause accidents. That's why we don't do activities in the middle of the street. It's why if you get into a minor fender bender, the law tells you to move your cars out of the active lanes. Yet just a few days ago, when a local poster shared a photo of this officer sitting in the exact spot, a bunch of internet commenters absolutely crucified them for pointing it out. Funny enough, I don't see any of those same people in the comments today. It makes them look like absolute idiots. They thought there was no merit in showing the town a highly questionable police practice, right up until that questionable practice ended in a major questionable wreck. In conclusion, while the driver of the red Equinox is going to be held legally at fault on a police report, from a practical and moral standpoint, the blame isn't so black and white. If that officer had been parked in a place or spot where there was absolutely nowhere to turn, I'd say without a doubt that the Equinox driver was 100% to blame. But he was parked right at Lake Avenue, right where a car could easily turn into the neighborhood. It is highly possible that the driver approached that squad car expecting it to do what cars in turn lanes do: turn. Instead of being able to just keep her eyes on the road ahead of her, she had to split her attention between the traffic in front of her and a stationary emergency vehicle sitting where it shouldn't have been. If that squad car wasn't using a traffic lane as a parking spot, this wreck might have never happened. Legal? Sure. But smart? Clearly not.